Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Morning. How are you, Debs?
Good, thank you, on this beautiful day.
You're fabulous.
I'm going to start off with an angel card reading.
Cool.
Just pulled well, actually, this one fell out of the pack, so I just
Oh,
thought, okay, someone wants me to read this.
yeah.
Self-respect.
Look at the picture. Oh, self-respect. Cool.
And it says, Archangel Michael is supporting your quest for happiness, thank God, health and abundance by advising you to respect and love yourself. The situation you're inquiring about has some dysfunctional aspects, how funny, which can adversely affect your self-esteem. This card is a sign that it's time to honour yourself, even if others aren't treating you in a worthy manner. You deserve respect from yourself and others, for you're a beloved child of God, just as everyone is in this spiritual truth. Get counselling to build your self-esteem, leave an abusive situation, let go of behaviours that you know deep down aren't healthy or right for you, as guilt erodes self-respect, and insist that others treat you with respect. Well, that's funny, as we were just talking about Matt Kahn and the whole twin flame and not being treated right, isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds almost like it's summing up what you've just done, rather,
Exactly.
doesn't
Bye-bye.
it?
So what was your topic of conversation today?
Well, it was all about how to know when you're trying to achieve something and you start to get like a frustration, or you think, is the universe blocking me? Is it telling me to stop this? Or is it telling me to, like, is this a test and I should keep persevering? So I had an instance this week where it was one of those situations, and so I'll explain the story and then you'll get what I'm saying. So I'd been pondering a new necklace design, and so rather than sit there with a piece of paper annoying myself that I can't, nothing can come out, I leave that and I'll just wait and I'll look for inspiration, or I'll look at the sea, or I'll look at pictures of natural stones, and something will form in my mind. And I got a design came into my mind, and I thought, oh, that would work. So once I get that, I'll go straight down to my studio. I went down there, got the bits I needed to work with, and part of it involved soldering, which is a kind of a step-by-step process of, you need to get the metal, you need to degrease it, you need to flux it, you need to get the solder, make sure that's degreased and fluxed, and that the piece that you're soldering has two clean edges that are touching. Did all that, I got the flame and starting to heat it up, and the solder wouldn't melt, and that's a bit odd. And then the rest of it got so hot that it started to warp, and still the solder hadn't melted. I'm like, this is weird. It was all black and bent out of shape. So I'm like, okay. So you quench that to cool it down, put it in the pickle to clean it, get it out and look at it, and it was a complete mess. I like sawed it off. I'll start again, get a new link, clean it, get the solder, do the flux, set the same thing up again, heated it up, the solder wouldn't melt, and it started to distort again. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm checking my thought process. I'm doing everything I should in the order that I should.
Is it Mercury retrograde?
Yeah, is it? Yeah. So
full moon?
Exactly. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a third go. And it did the same thing again. So at this point, I'm fit to chuck it out of the window, because I actually really want to make it now. And that once I get the design and I know how it's going to look, it normally flows. So then I've got the self-doubt. Should I be making this? Is this the wrong design? Should I be focusing on something else? Shouldn't I be doing this right now? What else should I be doing? Or am I using the wrong materials? Is this the wrong design and I need to be coming up with a better, all of these things? And you think, maybe, is it perseverance I need? Is it inspiration that I need? Or do I just need to sack this and do something else? And I thought, for me, my gut instinct was sack it and go and do something else, because if I'm just going to sit here and get frustrated and waste more silver. So switched everything off, shut the door, went upstairs, and you always need to wash your hands because you've got metal filings and all stuff on there. And washing hands for me is good. It's a really good sort of grounding thing. So I get a lot of my inspirations and downloads when I'm in the shower, literally reconnecting with nature and grounding and getting flow. And so I was washing my hands and feeling the water flowing over. And then so I said to the universe, what was I meant to be doing? What was I doing wrong? What did I need to learn from that? What was going on there? And then I just got the message, that wasn't solder, that was bezel wire.
Oh.
Now, bezel wire is solid silver like the ring. Solder's got a lower melting point. So the bezel wire would have had to have heated up. And that's why the other thing was melting, because the bezel wire was actually thicker. And normally when I did it, I thought, oh, my solder's out on my bench. Normally it's in my top right hand drawer, and I thought it was odd that I'd left it out. Well, I hadn't. That was bezel wire because I was doing a stone mount the previous time, and my solder was in the top right hand drawer. So that was definitely a case of I needed to stop what I was doing, get away from that situation, and allow the answer to come to me. And if I'd sat there going, I need to persevere here, this is a test from the universe, I'd still be there now, and I'd have run out of solder and everything of silver, and completely frustrated myself, and would never have been able to fix that. So that was my
way of slowing you down from doing it at that point, though, isn't it? Even if you self-sabotaged, it's still on some level. Well, the universe sabotaged you. You're still stopping yourself from doing it at that point. So maybe you just weren't meant to do it then. So have you tried it since?
No, I'm going to go back down today, this afternoon, and do. I'd leave it for a couple of days. I don't go straight back down there because I just think the moment's gone, the energy's not right. So like you say, there might have been a reason why I needed to stop that afternoon anyway.
Yeah.
But it was just it was just instant. The minute that I disconnected from that and asked the question, the answer came in. And I could have been sat down there for hours, kept persevering, and still, I was definitely blocked. I would never have come up with that answer, oh, look, that's bezel wire, because I was looking at it and
your perception was just, and your focus was literally on starting it or getting it done, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was convinced, why would I question that it wasn't solder? So
do they look the same then?
Yes, but a bezel, different widths of bezel wire. The one that I had was the same width as my solder. They looked actually, very similar. I just had never had the two of them out at the same time and compared them like that. But so that's, I think, a good example of where people keep going and persevering and banging their head on a brick wall. Sometimes that isn't the answer, that you do need to stop and get some distance and reflect back, and then that can allow you to go back with new information, and then you probably get a better result. And also there's that cliche, isn't it? Keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same result, and it might not be one that you want.
Exactly. I think I've been doing that most of my life. Because I think I love, actually, I'm really enjoying things now when you have been doing something a certain way and it's not been working, but you carry on doing it. It's just like you're not getting it, are you? Sometimes some things you get straight away, and other things you have to make that same mistake and go around in circles for ages before you actually suddenly go, hang on, that's just not working for me, so I've got to try a different approach.
Yeah, and it's the stories we tell ourselves why we're doing it, why we can't be doing something else, and how we can't change what we've got. Now, I could have changed that out for the actual solder, but I kept telling myself that I didn't even question that it wasn't. So, that was completely down to my perception and not the truth.
Well, it's like you pointing out to me the other day about there isn't only one option. Like for me, in my current situation, there's not just one outcome, whereas I was gearing everything towards that outcome and not wanting it, so in total resistance. And since then, I've sort of opened my mind up a bit and gone, well, it could end in any way, or it could begin in any way. It's we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're feeling resistance, there's a reason.
Yeah, but don't you think a lot of us do go through life sometimes, if it's stages, or some people go through their whole life being blinkered?
Yeah,
They've got blinkers on and they can only see what's directly in front of them, or tunnel vision, and it's all down to their perception. And like April the other day, you know, she was spoiling for a fight because she thought I was trying to provoke her, but I wasn't trying to provoke her. And but in her accusing me of that was her perception, because that's what she expected. Well, where did that come from? Guilt, maybe. Do you know what I mean? She was
yeah.
defensiveness. So I was thinking this the other day. Well, I'm not giving you the satisfaction of taking that on, you know. So I just removed myself from that situation, and then it all righted itself.
And that was just a story that she was playing out then, obviously, you know, looking for a trigger in a past event and then replaying that out in
Guilt. She's got guilt about something, let me tell you. And I know it and she knows it, but we're not talking about it. Because
okay.
I know that if I said something to her about it, it would erupt into an almighty massive, well, not a fight on my side, but it would erupt in a nasty confrontation, which I don't want to be part of. So but so how do you broach that with someone who you know has done something and then is being defensive and offensive and trying to get you to bite, and you both know this secret, like the elephant's in the room, but you're not addressing it? How do you do that without, if you know that it's going to be a confrontation, what do you do? Just ignore it?
Yeah, I think, I don't know that it's ignoring it, allowing someone the space to dwell with that knowledge. And I had a similar thing. So my teenager had done something which resulted in him getting his privileges of the internet withdrawn. So we have an ability to say you're only allowed access to the Wi-Fi between X and Y hours. And when the thing that he did happened, that was a complete black ban for a week.
Fair enough.
And then it would have been reduced hours after that, and more with better behaviour. Now, very quickly, I realised that the blocks we'd put on the Wi-Fi weren't working.
Oh.
He was in there on his computer playing games, talking to his mates via the internet. So I'm like, I don't know how he's doing that. Maybe he's using his phone as a hotspot, in which case he's going to run out of data soon. So we'll just let that happen and let it run. And he didn't. And then we did a total ban on the Wi-Fi, and he still had access. And I'm like, part of me is quite impressed, thinking he's found a workaround here. Well done. So I've let that run for 4 weeks now. It might be longer. And he's been in there flouting what he knows that we said would be the case. And I've just been letting him sit there with it and let them sit there with it. So last night I got to the point where the time he would normally have been kicked off the internet is the time that he's got to go and brush his teeth and get ready for bed. And he'd gone past that. And then I was like, okay, this has gone on long enough now. So I went in and I just stood there looking at him, opened the door, looking at him. And that's the one thing I think he can't bear. And he starts shifting. He's like, what? And I go, how are you accessing the internet? And you see him look at me like, do I tell her the truth? He goes, well, I said, you're not using your phone? No. I said, so how are you accessing it? He goes, well, the block doesn't work. I'm aware of that. I said, oh, how are you accessing it? And he still, like, he was drawing it out, not wanting to tell me, because he knew the minute he told me I'd be able to do something about it. So it was a slight battle of wills. Mostly it wasn't a battle of wills between us. It was his angel and demon on his shoulders, really. But to his credit, he did say the truth. And the truth was, because we installed a LAN connection to his room, which meant there's a physical cable between
so we can plug in with the cable.
And apparently, and we didn't know this, the settings on the router are only applied to Wi-Fi and not LAN connections. So that's how he was doing it.
Clever boy.
So and he goes, well, he said, well, it's been like that for weeks and you didn't notice. And I went, but I did. And then he's like, oh no, I've been not doing what I was told for the last 4 or 6 weeks. Now the punishment's going to be really bad, because he knew that I knew that he was not obeying orders, and I've let him run with it, and he's thinking he's get away with it. And now he's realised that I could go, right, you've got 4 weeks off the internet or something. Anyway, I didn't, because I appreciated that he told me the truth. And he's got reinforced that never lie to your mother because she always knows the truth thing, you know. So I that was a little bit of fun in a way to not have. So that was without confrontation, but really only because he told me the truth. And so then I let that go a little bit. But now we've found a workaround, because I found out how to block the LAN cable. Now I know what to do. So we're going to fix that one today. But I think when your situation, I think it's good enough to hint that you're aware, and leave them.
Yeah.
Because it's only their own, if it is guilt, they've got to almost drown in that and decide to do something about it. Otherwise they're going to always live with that thing nagging at them or beating them over the head. I think there's nothing to be gained in confrontation.
No.
But you are being honest and calm, saying, I know what you're doing.
Oh, that would result in a on her side, not on mine. I can be calm and say to her, look, I know what you did, and that was really unfair, and you've done that a lot in your past, and it's something that really upsets me. It's disloyal. I don't like people who are being disloyal.
And you can't, because I probably could say that to both of my boys in the cold light of day. I could say, look, well, I said that to Alex the other day. I support him even in his head fucks.
Yeah.
So yes.
That's it. I've told her, I think I'll always love you no matter what you do, but I don't. Disloyalty really pushes my buttons.
Oh yeah, me too. And disrespect.
Yeah, or using me as a manipulation tool. She's done that a lot through her life. Like in teenage years, she used to tell people that I was this wicked mother who locked her up at 6 o'clock at night and didn't let her have anything, and she had no phone and no. Like honestly, the people thought that I was some sort of horrible person, but she was doing it to gain sympathy, and then she would manipulate that sympathy to get what she wanted, and then that started a pattern of behavior.
Yeah,
I've still got no control over it, but I thought she was over it, and she's now done it again, and I found out. So like I don't want to go like bring it all up, and I think she must know that I know. She must know that I know. So,
well, I think that the only it's fine to let someone know that you know, but calmly.
Yeah.
And then if they blow up, or if they've got to start with the aggression and the defensiveness, that's up to them, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm just holding up a mirror here. If you don't like what you see.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do it if you don't like it. So I'm fiercely loyal, and I think that's probably something, you know, I expect from others, but you don't get it. Rarely get it.
I don't know what that is, because even at school, people used to sort of whip and flip best friends, or then and then talking behind their back about someone, and I didn't get that.
No. Well, it's a waste of time, isn't it? And then it always comes back to bite you on the arse. I'm not saying I haven't done it. I'm not saying that I've gone through my life and not gone with, you know, the other girls and gone, oh, look, did you see what she's wearing and all that kind of stuff. But it always comes back to bite you in the arse. So better to be transparent. And I'm not suggesting that you go up to someone and say you look like a bag of shit in that dress, you know, but just not say anything at all. Or to set, or what I've learned to do is say, well, I think something else would suit you better, perhaps, rather than say your arse looks like the size of a mountain in that dress.
Yes, I think it's that old adage is if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah. Yeah, that would be hard for me to do. So have you got anything else you want to talk about this week?
No, that was it really. Just it was a good lesson for me in the, yes, you're right to go with your gut instinct, and if you feel like giving up, walk away.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you've sacked the whole thing completely, but you need some time and space from any situation, then go back better armed.
Yeah, more aligned with it.
And I think people they do that thing of, well, I've worked on this for so long, I can't give up now. Well, how's that serving you then? Maybe
then you're not enjoying what you're doing.
Well, no, and it might be
Sure.
the wrong thing. It might be knocking on a door that's not meant to open for you, or that it will open and it's not the right thing for you. So, I think it's difficult sometimes to think, oh, is this a test? I don't believe the universe does test you. Why would it, in a law of attraction sense, if you're putting out a vibration, it will deliver
whatever that is.
Yeah, so if you get a test, you're putting out the vibration of the test.
Yeah.
I don't think that to imply a test from the universe would imply the universe is sitting there with this balance of scales going, have you worked hard enough? No, I don't think you have. I don't think it does that.
Well, the law of attraction is all about non-judgment, so
exactly,
therefore it would contradict everything that it's preaching, as it were, to say that there's someone up there going, wow, you haven't worked quite hard enough for that, you need to do it in another way.
Yeah,
it's just about energy. And if I think most of the battle with the law of attraction and living that way is that there's so much underneath the conscious. The subconscious is so vast and can be controlled by so many different elements and conditioning from your past that you're not always aware of those things, are you? So you may think you think a certain way, but on some level you've got a restriction there, or past hurt or past conditioning that is giving you a different perception.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. And it's only when you look at that side of yourself, or it pops up, because that's what they're saying. Especially like Esther Abraham Hicks says, that you're going to be learning till you leave this world and go back to source or whatever you believe, but you're going to carry on learning. So you don't have to fix it all in 10 minutes. It's when something arises that challenges what you're trying to achieve, an old belief, and then putting it to bed almost, isn't it?
Yeah. And like you say, it's people's thoughts and actions are governed by, say, the subconscious. So some people will actively choose the hard work version because they think that has some moral benefit in it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the law of attraction terms, it shouldn't be that hard. If you think it's a test, you need to look at, why do you think you're being tested? Are you not deserving of it? Why do you think you need to work hard for it? Are you not worthy?
Yeah.
And so I think that's all like a lot of subconscious programming, and people that you've got to hustle, you've got to get up at 5, you've got to kill yourself in the gym, and then you've got to do this, that, and the other, and keep going, and and you're like, your adrenals are going to burn out. Where's the benefit in that? If you're in alignment with something,
it flows.
That's not hard work.
No.
Yeah, you
That's
might
not
need
work
to.
at all when it flows, is it?
No, it's actually
Switch it off.
regenerates your energy when you're
Yeah.
working in flow and in alignment. So I think there's a real big misconception there between how much hustle and hard work you need to do, and literally it's the law of least effort. If it's meant for you and you're meant for it, it happens.
There's no resistance to
There's
it.
no resistance. You don't always just sit on your sofa and it comes in the door, but when you do take action, it's action that you're happy with, it's in alignment with you. It should almost be relaxing, because you go to that space where time just flies by, you don't even realize you're putting any effort in,
Yeah.
so
And
yes.
it's a thrill when you get that. I mean, I've only had a few short experiences of that throughout my life, because I've slogged hard in awful jobs at times, but I've only had periods of time where I've absolutely loved every second, and I've stayed up all night doing stuff because the passion and the enthusiasm and the love was there for it, you know. I'm just trying to find that again now.
Well, yes, and then stay there when you get it.
Yeah.
I used to I used to say the same thing, that I was never going to win the lottery. I would only get, if I got lots of wealth, it would only be through hard work. I wasn't lucky. I had all of those mindsets. So now I'm relieved to find I don't have to work that hard, and when I do work, it's not work. I enjoy myself, and if there's a frustration, like with the solder, there's a reason for that, and I need to step away from it. The minute now anything starts to get icky or doesn't feel right, I go, okay, then I'll just leave that there. I don't need to stick with it. I don't need to push myself through. I don't need to persevere. That's blatantly not in alignment with me, or it's not in my lane, and I'll go and do something that feels much better. Then it's much more relaxing way to live.
Just as you were talking, then I remembered that it's conditioning, money conditioning. But I can see your dad saying things like, "You got to work hard for it." Did he used to say stuff like that? So that's conditioning that's been in there since we were sort of 6, 7, 8 year old. I remember my mum and dad were always, "You've got to work hard. You've got to work hard." Blah blah blah. Money doesn't grow on trees. But I just got a vision of my nan. Coming back from bingo, because she always went to bingo. It's when you said about the lottery. She always used to go to bingo at the weekend. She used to get on the bus all the way to Carlisle, and then she'd come back and we'd go and meet her off the bus, and we'd go, "Have you won? Have you won?" And she'd go, "Not a sausage, my lass, not a sausage."
Oh.
And she hardly ever won, bless her. But then she used to say, and then my granddad would a bit more coarse, say, "You couldn't win a piss up in a brewery." But she was a lady. She used to say, "Not a sausage, not a sausage."
Oh.
But so yes, just as you were saying that came back, and there's loads of that sort of stuff that we need to.
Well, the biggest one, and which is the biggest lie that went on for the longest in my life, was when I was choosing my O levels, and my dad was like, "You can't do art." But nobody ever became wealthy from their art unless they were dead. You won't pay the bills doing art. Da 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 da. So I didn't do art,
Oh,
and actually, the easiest way for me to earn money now is through my creativity. It's the thing I have the most fun and enjoyment doing. It's when I'm in flow. It's when the time goes by, and it's the most fulfilling. And I spent 40 years not doing that because I believed that it was a waste of time, that it wasn't going to earn me any money, that I would have had to, not that I've had to have died, but basically don't even bother, because, you're taking time and money away from other things that you should be more productive on and receive more income, better income, more income, or quicker, I don't know. But yeah, 40 years it took me to realize, or to allow myself, that actually creativity was one of my things, and whenever I do anything creative, money flows to me. So that was 40 years.
do you think it's their conditioning though? Because I heard similar things. Like, obviously, I wanted to be a singer when I was 15. I used to practice all day long in the garage with a record player.
If only they had X Factor then.
Well, no, because my mother delivered a fateful blow when I was 15, and she said, "Shut up! You sound like a cat."
Oh my God.
And I never got over it, and I didn't sing for 17, no, another 12 years after that. And then it was only singing in the car, and I was singing, and my friend was in the car. And do you remember Tina Arena, Chains?
Yes,
Right,
yes.
lovely song. And we were in the car going somewhere, and I just happened to be singing along with it, but not mindfully, just like, sort of just going on. And she went, "Oh my God, you've got a lovely voice." And I was like, "Don't behave, shut up." And she brought that out in me, and we went to a karaoke. And then 3 weeks after I went to my first karaoke, I started with the big band and was
Wow.
in front of 400 people. Bit of a shock to the system. Not only a week's rehearsal I had, and then I was in front of 400 people.
Wow.
That could have stopped me for life. And it's other things as well, like painting. You know that I enjoyed painting, but like my dad and mum used to say things like, "You've got to have a trade behind you." Like, like I was going to be a plumber or something.
Well, we weren't allowed trades. They were for working class people in my house. You had to have a job, where you used your brain.
Yeah.
So I would have been even more of a letdown with a trade than doing art.
It's weird, isn't it, how we're stopped by doing something for so long by just one or two comments. It's quite sad, really, because you don't know what you would have been, do you?
I know, but then I think that was obviously, that was the journey I was meant to. Maybe if I'd gone down that journey then, I wouldn't have had the experiences I've got now and the mindset I've got now, and the allowing myself to flow that I have now. So I might have tried or dabbled or gone for it then and not been successful for any other reasons.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy, because now all the rest of this time I've done graphic design, I've done photography, I've done accounting, I've done financial advice. So now when I need to create a website, take some photographs, do my graphic design, do my logos, and do my own accounts, I can do them all.
Yeah.
So that I don't have that holding me back. Whereas I think some people don't start their businesses or don't give up their day jobs because they don't have all of those things and they can't afford to pay someone to do them. So I kind of did it the other way around.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. When I try and reason that, when I think, "Oh, I went through this and I went through that and it didn't work," rather than think that I'd failed at that, I learned some valuable skills like you. So I'm very self-sufficient in starting up something.
Yeah. And even though we don't want to necessarily do it all for ourselves now, I certainly don't do my own accounts.
Listen, universe.
It means that if you've got half an idea of what you're asking someone else to do, I think it makes you more realistic as an employer, but also less likely to get ripped off. So it's not a bad idea to have those skills, even if you don't want to use them anymore. It's just
very true. Because you know how simple it is to create a meme or whatever, download a video, don't you? So you wouldn't be ripped off. And then, because I've been ripped off in the past because I didn't know, like the publishing thing,
yeah,
mostly ripped off because I didn't know how easy it was or how easy it could be. So it's that illusion, isn't it?
yes,
The illusion is something really, really difficult that you can't possibly do. So you pay a couple of grand for it when it's like, you can do it for next to nothing.
yes, and that's the trick, isn't it? To big wealth is creating that illusion.
Yeah.
On the flip side,
it's very true. As I was saying it, I was thinking, how can I do that?
yeah, exactly. That's good business acumen there.
That's good. That's good. Well, as usual, we've gone off topic, which is even more entertaining. So that's good. So I'll speak to you again next week.
Okay, everyone.
Have a fantastic week.
You too. Thanks again.
Bye.